Or what should you eat instead? I would suggest to you, eat the things that we are made to eat, that human beings are thriving on, which are basically two things. It's glucose and mineral salts.
There's one meat I would absolutely avoid, then it's pork. Pork is so high in fat, it causes instant insulin resistance and it stays up to 16 hours in your bloodstream and it's really hard on your pancreas. But keto diet, where should I start? It's probably the worst diet you can do, like carnivore, because you deprive yourself of the most important nutrient, which is carbohydrates. And you have to get used to the fact that glucose is the only way to get nutrients into a cell. There's no other way. And people say, yeah, I get my energy from fats. You don't get your energy from fats mainly, you get it from glucose. Yes, you can get energy from fats, I'm not denying that. But the main source and the best fuel for the human body is glucose, which is coming from carbs. And carbs are also not making you fat. Fat makes you fat, because if you would understand where weight gain is really coming from, it's coming from an overburdened fatty liver. And a liver doesn't like fat, because every time you eat so much fats and proteins, that means your liver has to produce so much bile to disperse the fat cells. And this is overburdening the liver over time. That's why so many people start keto, they feel better, they lose weight, and in the end they gain everything back because their liver gets overburdened time by time the more fats they eat. So don't fall for this trap.
What's your body made of? The body's made of basically protein and fats. It's not made of fiber, okay? It's not made of little flowers, and it's not made of honey. It's made of protein and fat, and it's an animal-based protein and fat. So that should basically be indicative of what even other animals in nature, they will use certain different types of digestive approaches to basically extract and acquire those two essential elements that they require, the fats and cholesterol plus protein. They'll get it different ways. I mean, a cow has 3 chambers where it basically slowly grows these little organisms, protozoa and everything else, and bacteria and all the other types of things. They grow and they feast on the fiber. That fiber gets shot out in the back and it goes into the 4th chamber, which is an acidic chamber. And those little organisms get absorbed. That's the protein and fat. So it gets short chain fatty acids, which are saturated, plus all these long chain fats and of different types, including some polys, some monos, and a number of other long chain saturates that are basically absorbed from digesting these little organisms that grew and feasted on the fiber. So really, what is a cow? It's a carnivore. Hindgut fermenters like the gorillas. All that fiber goes into that big cecum. Well, ours is an appendix, so you can forget about trying that little trick at home. You're not going to go very far of getting very much from fiber, but they do. They get a lot of protein and all that because they can actually break down that cellulose inside there and can feast and actually extract proteins and fats from that fiber. Plus, they eat a number of varieties, because some of the varieties are basically have more fat in them and some varieties have less fat, and these are termites. They still eat a lot of termites as well. And that's how all animals, they'll use different strategies, but at the end of the day, we use hunting strategies, and we also basically, learn to basically make little stone tools so we can way more efficiently break bones and extract the bone marrow and cut those basically nice big burgers off those ruminant animals, and that's basically how we basically did it with the big steaks. Our steak knife was a sharp stone, but it did the trick. And every animal finds a strategy. Even I did a video ages ago talking about a number of chimps that have basically found themselves where humans have cleared the actual forest and now they're in a savanna region. Guess what they do? They congregate together, they're cooperative, they're less vicious towards each other. They are more helpful to each other, and they hunt together with their own little spears. Chimps in the wild hate water. These guys actually sit in water, in water holes to cool down, like our ancestors would have. And they still haven't evolved out of the chimp thing, but already, you know, they've up-regulated their sort of those sort of genes that basically, you know, make them more cooperative. And they're developing tools to basically hunt. They didn't go looking for any tubers. They went for these to create spears. That was the first thought. How I get high quality food, you know, tells you everything. Tells you bloody everything when you see that sort of stuff.
Follow me for more health advice.